All right, so it's a blessed Sunday evening. Good evening. It's day number 7 in the month of July, the year 2024. You're welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA. And our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired in the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show. Tonight, we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema, and on YouTube, we are streaming live at Iron Port. Indeed, we shall be getting interactive with you as usual. And so all you have to do is sit back, grab your phones, and relax and send us your messages and comments via our WhatsApp line, which is 0538 037353. 0538 037353. Now, when the time is ripe and I pick signals from the production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Heyman, no be me taking number first.
But you tell me say take the number give me.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really?
Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, feel me talking about what?
Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Euro 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from GWEL.
Heyman, the best is here. I can't make a car patch up. My short to fool, Mr. Wa. If you let me tank us, I'm about.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh,
Cut him.
hey, go for na buajungwa mami.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for GWEL Super XP Ron 95. GWEL, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back. We are now going to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry during the week. Indeed, during the week, the Gambian Ports Authority had cause to congratulate and commend Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority for its business model. We'll tell you the details pretty shortly. Plus, the fact that the Meridian Port Services, that's MPS, has indicated its readiness to optimize its operational efficiency. And this came to light when they launched a new equipment simulator. Let's take a look at these stories and more.
Meridian Port Services Limited, the operator of the world-class Terminal 3 at the Port of Tema, has introduced a cutting-edge equipment simulator designed to test and refine the skills and competencies of operators at the terminal. On Wednesday, June 26, 2024, the Chief Executive Officer of MPS, Mohammed Samara, and his management team met with representatives of key stakeholder organizations, including the Director of the Port of Tema, Sandro Poku, to unravel this first-of-its-kind edifice at the Port of Tema. He later explained how investment into this sophisticated infrastructure and more tie into the overall strategy to boost efficiency and the competitiveness of the Port of Tema.
I mean, to be able to sell ourselves as a hub port, we have to meet, certain standards that are globally being offered in the big hubs, by various ports in various countries, and we have to give or match that service level, if not exceed it, for us to actually anchor some services over here. For example, the crane productivity, not only the berth productivity, has to be tip-top. The safety in handling the equipment has to be really, really good, with inflicting no damage whatsoever to cargo, and also handling it in the fastest possible way for a quick turnaround of vessels.
The human resource manager at MPS, Julia Aqua, intimated that this equipment simulator will add to the company's various avenues provided to optimize skills development of the workforce.
With this simulator, we are mainly looking at upskilling the skills and competencies of our existing workforce. So this gives you a picture of what it looks like out there, environment of what it would feel like out there. So when you sit behind the console, you get to experience exactly what is happening out there. Now, this offers our employees the opportunity to make corrections, learn new skills and better ways of working. This hence reduces accidents out there.
The head of operations at MPS, Emmanuel Hiniado, expressed excitement towards the support the board and shareholders have given MPS over recent years, and assure them that these efforts will be adequately rewarded.
I would like to take opportunity as the operations manager to actually assure the management, assure the board and shareholders that we are ever ready to maximize the use of this simulator so that we can give out the best of service to our customers.
The leadership of the Workers' Union also expressed their gratitude to management for the opportunity to interact with modern learning tools.
Continuous improvement is something we have always yearned for. And so to have an equipment like this to help improve workers' skill here, I think it is something we embrace with all our hearts.
MPS Terminal 3 at the Port of Tema currently boasts of 12 ship-to-shore gantry cranes and 35 electric rubber-tie gantry cranes, among several other cargo-moving equipment. With a 127-hectare container yard area, a 1.4-kilometer berthing area with depth of -16 meters chart datum, capable of receiving the largest class of vessels in the world, and an annual yard capacity of 2 million TEUs, the Port of Tema continues to consolidate its enviable position as a hub port on the west coast of Africa. Members of the Board of Directors of the Gambia Ports Authority have praised the leadership role the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has assumed in its business development activities. In addition to the success chalked by the authority in ports concession arrangements, the group was particularly impressed with the incorporation of health services into the business development strategy of GPHA. They made this known when they visited the Port of Tema on a benchmarking exercise that seeks to monitor port concessions at Ghana's ports. According to the Gambia Ports Authority, this study will provide valuable insights and best practices that will enhance and strengthen their knowledge and skills in managing port concessions and landlord responsibilities. The 5-day visit aligns with the policies of the Port Management Association of West and Central Africa, which recommends member states to interlearn best practices from each other. They toured one of GPHA's flagship business units, the International Maritime Hospital, a one-stop tertiary health facility that serves Ghana's maritime industry and beyond. Led by the hospital administrator Adam Musa, the staff of IMA apprised the delegation on how the hospital is being positioned to provide world-class healthcare for Ghanaians and non-Ghanaians.
We are very grateful at their coming. This is one of the exposures for IMA. At least what they see here, they will take it along and then present it in Gambia and let the Gambian community know there is a healthcare facility here which is high. That can help them in most of the healthcare needs.
The delegation registered their pleasure at the success of IMA.
We are very much impressed in what we have seen. The services and the facilities located here. Part of the visit today is actually as part of a study tour to actually look at the maritime subsector and to see how we can actually learn and see what Ghana is doing and how we, as the ministry responsible for transport and public policy, we can actually help to actually develop our subsector.
And we feel very, very impressed that such a facility exists, that we can, in collaboration with the Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority, be able to work out some form of relationship that referrals, from the Gambia can also be sent here in the meantime.
A befitting send-off parade has been held in honor of Deputy Chief Fire Officer Edward Evans Heyman, who has retired from his post as the Fire and Safety Manager at the Port of Tema. The ceremony was attended by staff and management of GPHA, members of the Ghana National Fire Service, and other key stakeholders within the port community. DCFO Edward Heyman, whose service with the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority lasted for 41 years, is considered one of the linchpins of the Fire and Safety Department of the Port of Tema, where he has headed since 2018 to date. Before then, he had served in several official capacities at the Fire and Safety section of GPHA, both in Tema and Takoradi, in addition to his early years with the Marine Engineering Department. DCFO Edward Heyman is remembered for his dedication to employee continuous development and a penchant for occupational health and safety, and he reminded fire officers of the need to stay committed.
I believe in education and self-development. I have been talking and advising most staff to take academic education program in relation to their department, of which it will help them to improve on their work and create opportunity for them on a higher responsibilities. After a lengthy talk with my team, then I deduced a style to start talking to them on self-development to educate themselves on a distance program. Because I was personally pursuing other programs by then. This brought about a good teamwork on the job within the department, etc. The men are doing well. We wish you all well. Long live Fire Safety Department, long live GPHA, long live Mother Ghana.
He received glowing tributes for his 4 decades of dedicated service to the organization and profession.
Dear Chief, your leadership has been truly inspiring, and we are very grateful for the impact you have had on our team. Thank you for always pushing us to be our best and for showing us what true leadership is. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Your towering presence was always inspiring. Your reassuring words were stress-busting. Your constant support was highly motivating. Farewell to a boss who will be dearly missed.
So, Mr. Heyman, after 41 years at GPHA, we want to say thank you for your dedicated service. It's not easy working at GPHA for 20 years, but 41 years, that is a record.
ACFO Alfredo Kine will now take over from DCFO Edward Heyman as the Port Fire and Safety Manager in Tema.
This flag is a symbol of authority.
All right, so I'll say congratulations to Mr. Edward Heyman for a yeoman's job. Having served the Port Authority for 41 solid years, no mean an achievement. We salute you and wish you the best in retirement. Well deserved there. Now we're going to the global stage to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry.
Germany's maritime solutions provider, Schuld Group, has established Ocean-Opt, a new company that will serve as a one-stop solution for emissions management for ship managers, owners, and charterers. According to Schuld Group, Ocean-Opt underscores the group's commitment to sustainability and innovation. The new entity has been launched as the pressure on the maritime industry increases to demonstrate measurable progress toward climate neutrality. According to Schuld Group, Ocean-Opt underscores the group's commitment to sustainability and innovation. The new entity has been launched as the pressure on the maritime industry increases to demonstrate measurable progress toward climate neutrality. Following the introduction of the International Maritime Organization's Carbon Intensity Indicator Rating Scheme and Energy Efficiency Existing Ship Index in 2023, effective this year, the shipping industry has been included in the European Union's emissions trading system, which will have a major financial impact on shipping from 2025. U.S. energy infrastructure player New York Fortress Energy has struck a deal with an undisclosed compatriot middle market infrastructure fund to unload its liquefaction and storage facility in Miami, which is said to be Florida's first privately owned liquefied natural gas plant and the first to export LNG from the continental United States to a non-free trade agreement country. While details about the definitive agreement between the two companies are scarce, with no financial information disclosed, the sale of New Fortress Energy's Miami liquefaction and storage facility is expected to close in the third quarter of 2024, subject to customary terms and conditions. With one liquefaction train capable of producing 8,300 MMBTU of LNG per day, this small-scale liquefaction facility has 3 LNG storage tanks with a total capacity of approximately 1,000 cubic meters, as well as 2 separate LNG transfer areas capable of serving both truck and rail.
All right, so we are now going to take a look at the word or phrase of the day. And remember, the word or phrase of the day on Iron Port is fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word is cabotage. Cabotage.
Cabotage refers to trade or transport in coastal waters or between two ports or points within a country, especially by parties other than the domestic carriers. Many countries, such as the USA, have laws requiring domestic-owned vessels to perform domestic interport water transportation services.
All right, so welcome back. We are now zooming into our discussion proper tonight, and tonight we are taking a look at maritime safety, how to enhance maritime safety and career opportunities in Ghana's maritime industry, and we're bringing an update on Ghana's cabotage law, which I understand has been implemented by the Ghana Maritime Authority. Now, we understand that the cardinal objective or the key goal of the cabotage law or regulations is to ensure that the transportation of goods, passengers, as well as services is reserved for Ghanaians or indigenous companies. Now, if you go to countries like the US of A, Brazil, India, and Australia, and even Nigeria, neighboring Nigeria, they are practicing the cabotage law. And these laws are fashioned to suit the various countries. And so it's not a straitjacket that you must implement it as any other country is doing. And so Ghana's own, we understand, is ready, and implementation has begun. And so we deemed it imperative to assemble a team from the Ghana Maritime Authority to come and shed more light on this particular law. Indeed, we were supposed to be joined by Mr. Ziad Hamwi, but he has sent in word that unfortunately he's at a function with his family, and he's unable to join us, albeit he would be sending us perhaps some message on his views with respect to Ghana's cabotage law. So it gives me pleasure tonight to introduce to us Mr. Audu Inusa, who is a Principal Maritime Administrative Officer at the Ghana Maritime Authority. Not his first time on the show. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. And also in the studios with him is Mr. George Kwachi, who is also a Principal Maritime Administrative Officer at the Ghana Maritime Authority. They are the two gentlemen we're having a discussion with tonight. And so I will begin with you. Last week, we happened to join the rest of the world to celebrate International Day of the Seafarers. And you being the GMA, being the lead agency representing the International Maritime Organization in Ghana, how did the celebrations go? Because you led the charge for these celebrations in our country.
Yes, it went on quite well. Ghana, together with the rest of the world, especially the maritime community, celebrated the Day of the Seafarer. It's in commemoration of the efforts of the seafarers towards international trade and also facilitating trade. The essence of this whole celebration started with the Manila Amendment.
Right.
That to set aside 25th June in recognition of seafarers. And fast forward, when you recall when we were faced with COVID.
Yes.
Yes, so whilst you and I were still indoors under lockdown, seafarers were still working. Subsequent to that, the ILO has recognized seafarers as essential workers.
Right.
In recognition of the efforts that seafarers contribute to international trade and facilitation of maritime commerce.
All right. So, all in all, you would say that the celebrations on Ghana's part went very well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Mr.
Well.
Kwachi wants to add something.
So, Ghana's celebration of the Maritime Day of the Seafarer saw executive management offering first-time services directly to the seafarers.
Okay.
Seafarer biometric registration and capturing were done by the management of the authority.
Yes.
And that brought them face-to-face to actually appreciate firsthand the issues they face. It was well done. There were visits to Ghanaian seafarers on board vessels in the port of Takoradi, where there were interactions with members of the authority, and it was well appreciated. Marked it in tandem with what happened elsewhere.
Okay. I'll still stay with you, and if you would oblige me, I just want to find out from you how the Ghana Maritime Authority ensures continues, as it were, improvement and updates in its operations, just to keep up with international standards.
Okay, so as you all know, the Ghana Maritime Authority is the regulatory body when it comes to the maritime space of the country. Now, what we do is that we review and align our national legislations in line with international maritime conventions by international bodies such as ILO and IMO. And then we make sure that it happens, we are able to replicate them here. Now, back home, it is done through surveys by the staff of the authority, audits of maritime facilities, all by the staff of the authority.
Right.
And then again, also, there are opportunities for staff to upgrade themselves by attending various courses and workshops, academic courses, etc., all to keep abreast with the trends of the industry and improving maritime safety as it is in Ghana.
Right. Okay, so let me come to Mr. Inusa and find out from you. Tell us about the Cabotage law. We understand the implementation has begun. Is that right?
Yes, the Cabotage law has begun. Mr. Kwashi will be the best to deal with this, but let me start.
Yes.
Like you mentioned earlier, is to make the local trade the preserve of Ghanaians, the indigenous. So 75% of ratings, and then also 50% of officers within on the vessels are supposed to go to Ghanaians. And this is to ensure that we have a fair share of job opportunities within the industry. We are doing it both with the merchant and then the fishing vessels as well. That is just a preliminary. I will just state.
Right. So, Mr. Kwachi, he mentioned that 75% of ratings and 15% officers. 50%.
50%
officers.
Yes.
Okay.
The ratings and officers are the various categories of workers on board a vessel.
Right.
And to ensure that Ghanaians or Ghanaian seafarers enjoy the full benefits of the cabotage regulations, it is strictly enforced. Now, what happens here is that we do a crew analysis of all the vessels that are in our local waters,
right,
to ensure that there is compliance to this 50% of these seafarers.
Right.
Then, in line with that also, the cabotage regulations makes room for equal pay for equal work. Yeah, what it means is that, for example, if there's a foreign national on board a vessel and he's doing he's the same rank as a Ghanaian, the LI ensures that they take the same salary. And all those things are enforced.
So if you're on board a vessel and there's somebody from, let's say, Singapore and I'm from Ghana, we must earn the same salary.
Yes. I mean, if you are all ratings,
yes,
you must earn the same salary.
Right. Yes. Okay. So that's what it basically ensures.
No, there's also the issue of vessels that operate within Ghana's jurisdiction.
Are these vessels that fly Ghana, that sail Ghana's flags?
No, for now, we have, for the offshore industry, we have a vessel that fly Ghana's flag,
right,
Flat Confidence. But then the law makes room for a cabotage registration certificate to be issued to foreign vessels that intend to come and operate. Some of the conditions or requirements for the registration of such a vessel is that it should be a JV, or it should even be a Ghanaian-owned company.
JV, when you say JV?
A joint venture.
Okay.
There's a kind of a sharing agreement. I mean, share a ratio where we would see, and that will still give the Ghanaian advantage. It is hoped that as time goes on,
is there in terms of the sharing, the joint ventureship, how, like as an indigent, what's supposed to be my percentage?
Well, we actually said the company should be a Ghanaian company.
Okay.
So definitely all the
directors,
all the legal requirements that makes a company a Ghanaian
must be met.
Company is what we look at.
Okay.
And it also applies to almost all the vessels: oil tankers, offshore support vessels, passenger vessels. And there's one thing unique about the law. It says that any other craft or vessel used for carriage on, through or underwater of a person, property, or any substance. So in this regard, even sometimes, pipelines are now the new modes of transportation in certain areas. When it comes, cabotage will still apply to.
Tell us, apart from taking care of the, what do we call it, the ensuring fairness, so to speak, for the ratings and officers on the vessel or crew, so to speak, and also ensuring that perhaps, the business is a joint venture, a JV, like you said, and partly owned by Ghanaian, and that the company must be Ghanaian. What are some of the details enshrined in the law?
Okay, let me correct.
Yeah,
so let me correct. I mean, it should be a Ghanaian company. Yes, some of the details of the law, of course, is about the eligibility, and of course their application.
Yes,
I mean, naval vessels and government vessels are not included, and then it covers also fishing vessels as well.
Okay.
Now there is also an exemption clause in the regulations. If I say exemption, what it means is that if you are bringing a vessel and there is none on the cabotage register, you can apply for exemption. You may have to apply for exemption.
Right.
Also, when there is a salvage operation, which of course is a one-time thing, you have to also apply for exemption. Again, when it comes to the manning requirements, and after a thorough look of the database of Ghanaians, of the Ghanaian Seafarer Register, if those ranks you are looking for are not available, and you want to bring in a foreign national, you have to apply for an exemption.
Right.
There is also an enforcement regime to ensure that the cabotage regulations are enforced. Currently, there is a cabotage enforcement team in place, and trying to streamline the operations. And the last but not the least, there is a fine and penalties regime for offenders who flout the regulations.
How punitive are these fines and penalties?
Well, it depends. There are gradations.
Right.
Yes. So I cannot share it now, but it's in the regulations. And
all right. So I'll come back to you, but let me go to Mr. Inusa and find out from you. Prior to the coming into force or coming into being of the cabotage law, what was the situation like? If you can walk us through, and perhaps at some point, if Mr. Kwachi would come in.
Okay, so prior to that, we had the Ghana Shipping Act, but there wasn't such restrictions. So we had foreigners coming into our waters to work, and especially within the oil and gas industry. So that was what pertained prior to that. So what the cabotage does is to restrict. And also the objective is to offer opportunities for skill transfer. So gradually over a period of time, then Ghanaians should take over the industry. Where there are instances where you have Ghanaians not having the skill, then they would have to take up those Ghanaians, and within a certain period of time, you will have to ensure knowledge transfer so that these Ghanaians will be equipped with that skill. So that over a period of time, the Ghanaians will take over within that industry. For instance, if you take over currently our fishing industry, you realize that we have a number of foreigners in there. I don't want to mention the nationality, but and even at the rating level, we have a lot of Filipinos in there. So what this LI 2438 try to do is to ensure that over a period of time, Ghanaians will take over such...
They'll phase out the foreign nationals,
exactly.
expatriates. Okay.
I don't want to say phase out, but they will acquire the necessary expertise, competence, and then, yes, they will take over those areas. And then we also have to look at it within a certain context. Also, security-wise, it's okay that we have such a law in place to protect our maritime space. Yeah.
Now, he mentioned the fact that government vessels and naval vessels are not included in the law.
Yes.
And so it doesn't, I mean, it's not applicable when it comes to those. And he also mentioned, or you mentioned the fact that we have fishing vessels that are in there, plus a host of others. How big would you say our fleet, is in terms of the vessels that we are talking about that the cabotage law is supposed to regulate?
When most of our fleet are the fishing vessels. Okay, the other ones, yes, the vessels come in and, like he mentioned, they require permits to come in and work. If it comes to the commercial vessels or the merchant vessels, it's not that much. I think it's about 5 or so.
Okay.
Yes, that is not much. But on the fishing side, we have quite a number of these vessels.
You mentioned marine craft. You mentioned craft, and does that encapsulate boats? These wooden boats, that our folks use, on the Volta Lake and other inland waterways and all that.
So with those ones, you don't normally have foreigners.
Because they already are indigenous.
Yes, indigenous. You don't normally have foreigners. The canoes and those ones, no.
Yeah.
We are talking about, and those are locally made, and normally it requires indigenous skills.
We're talking about commercial vessels.
Exactly, commercial vessels, and yes. Yes. So, but for the, it goes without saying why naval vessels are exempted, because those are not for commercial purposes.
Yes, absolutely. All right. I think you wanted to come in, Mr. Kwacha, at some point.
Yes, I wanted to add that, the Ghana Shipping Act made ownership of the vessels. I mean, we practice a very closed shipping register.
Right.
And that ensure that vessels that come to work in Ghana are Ghana flagged. Now, with the advent of commercialization of oil and gas, there was an amendment to the vessel ownership, and that put in foreign vessels that will have to take permits before they come. Because either than that, then there's going to be a shortfall, there's going to be a gap. Looking at how expensive vessels are, and it's not everybody that can invest.
Absolutely, yeah. It's capital intensive, yeah.
Yes, it's very capital intensive. And maritime business is also not too widely open. So we slotted in, the GMA slotted in that amendment to ensure that foreign vessels can come in under the permit regime and then work in our waters. So that is what I wanted to say.
Okay. All right. So when did the law take effect?
Effectively, we started the implementation in 2002.
Okay. 2002. Yeah. Wow.
Yes. But it's been a journey.
Okay.
Because the draft regulations were in 2017.
Right.
Gone through amendments and, so much opposition. Because at the point, even International Chamber of Shipping actually wrote to punch out certain loopholes in the convention to the regulations to their advantage. I mean, so there are a lot of stakeholder engagements, negotiations, before finally the law was gazetted and started
in 2022. He mentioned 2002. That's why I was a bit taken aback here.
2022.
Yeah, I was a bit taken aback.
So apparently it was the regulation is 2021, gazetted in 2022.
Okay, so if we can highlight some of the notable developments since the implementation began and how you intend to sensitize and ensure that stakeholders, especially ship owners, comply with vessel owners comply with the law.
Okay, so as I said initially, there had been engagements before the actual law was birthed, and after it was birthed, also
in education and sensitization.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
We've had
all the stakeholders.
We had maritime stakeholders in Takoradi, I think a year or two back, sensitizing our stakeholders. Even now, as we are talking of enforcement, it is not a rigorous enforcement because we've given them a window of opportunity, still sensitizing them, and full enforcement will be from the 1st of August.
Okay.
Okay, so those are some of the things that I've done. We've also dealt with our recruitment agencies. You know, under the Maritime Labour Convention, there is, and the Ghana Maritime Labour Regulations, we are to every company, you can't just pick any seafarer and send them outside. So you have to be licensed by the authority. And the introduction of Cabotage has seen an increased number in those seafarer recruitment and placement agencies. They place the seafarers on board the vessels that work in the jurisdiction, basically. Apparently, as of last count, we had 21 registered SRPAs. And maybe Mr. Audu would continue.
Say SRPA.
Okay, Seafarer Recruitment and Placement Agency provider.
Okay.
And okay, so Mr. Audu can continue.
So, the Seafarer Recruitment and Placement Service providers, they normally pay our laws, the Ghana Shipping Maritime Labour Regulation, and also under the Shipping Act. You can't just recruit, you need a permit or a license to do that. And so, and the same recruitment and placement service providers, they don't recruit only for Ghana, but also for outside the country as well. But you need a permit, and then we will need to inspect your facility to ensure that you have an address that we can locate you in the event that there is a problem. We can intervene. And then you should be registered with the Labor Department as well as a recruitment and placement service provider. So currently we have about 43 seafarer recruitment and placement service providers.
43?
Yeah.
How huge is our local, industry that you will have as many as 43?
Yes. So like I mentioned, it's not just recruiting for Ghana, but also for outside Ghana as well. But a number of them are working within the oil and gas industry. Yes. So then it's all about opportunity. Once the opportunities are available, it's likely or possible that you have more of them coming up.
So during the sensitization, the stakeholder engagement and all that, what were some of the issues you picked up from them, if you can recall?
Yes, the issues. Some of them, the topical issue, the foreign seafarers.
Right.
And then the wages. We actually would have to have a collective bargaining agreement between the ship owners and then the seafarers so that we can arrive at minimum agreed wages.
Right.
So that they would not be jumping from company to company. Yes. But then even that, as I said, the regulations make room for equal pay and so we have been able to deal with that.
Right.
Again, also, when it comes to the issue of wages, since we don't have a CBA, national CBA on maritime wages, we actually rely on ILO minimum wages as a guidance.
Right.
ILO ITF, yes, as a guidance. So we ensure that when you go on, before you go on board, we scrutinize your documentation.
Right.
To ensure that those wages fall within. Those are some of the issues. The other issues had to do with the oil rigs. The oil rigs are very peculiar.
Yes.
Sometimes you have a cleaner being flown from Philippines all the way to come and work in an oil rig offshore Cape 3 Point.
Yes.
Those are some of the issues. But then with the enforcement and more sensitization, we are getting there.
Okay.
Okay. So just to add,
yes.
Like I mentioned, the Cabotage law, one of the things that is supposed to do is to expose the Ghanaians to the. He mentioned about Filipinos being flown all the way to come in here.
Did I mention a country?
Yes, you
did.
So, what is necessary within this industry, the career and skill development?
Right.
Yes, so that falls also under the purview of the Ghana Maritime Authority. We are a signatory to the STCW Convention, the International Convention on the Standards of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping for Seafarers.
Right.
Over the years, what we have tried doing is to ensure that we put ourselves in the pole position through the Maritime Education and Training Institute to be able to train the necessary expertise that is required for the industry.
Right.
We have the Seafarer Handbook that shows the career progression of the seafarer to enable the seafarer move. And we've done a number of changes in the past 2-3 years. And some of the skill development that may take a while, we have tried to review the handbook, and we've introduced certain courses to shorten the time frame for acquiring those skills, just to enable our seafarers had opportunity to serve on these vessels. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to find out from you, what usually or normally are some of the complaints you receive from seafarers, not during the sensitization as you elaborated a while ago, but normally at Ghana Maritime Authority, you sit back in your offices and you have aggrieved seafarers who walk in and say, okay, we're facing so-and-so challenge, I was on so-and-so vessel and this so-and-so happened and all that. What normally are some of the complaints that they get? What are some of the infringements that they
okay,
that
so
are meted out to them?
It's not only just within Ghana, but also outside Ghana.
Right.
Okay, so we may have issues of abandonment.
Okay.
When we mention abandonment, somebody is on the vessel and then the ship owner just leaves, runs away and leaves him on the vessel. Such things sometimes
without
happen.
pay.
Yes, without pay. It happens. If the ship owner finds himself in a very difficult situation, maybe he's not getting cargo, it's possible he may run away and leave you.
Wow.
There are also issues about wages. If you come to Ghana here, for instance, or now we are trying to sanitize our fishing industry. So improvement of living and working conditions, ensuring you may have calls coming in saying probably we don't have enough water on board, we are running out of food.
So while they are at sea, they are able to link up with the GMA to report?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, so what we do is we encourage them to make such complaints known to us. It may come in all forms, either through WhatsApp, through mails.
Yeah.
And it's not just about Ghanaians, okay? So it may be as part of their flag state and port state implementation, per the provisions of the Maritime Labour Convention. Any seafarer who finds himself in distress, if the vessel is calling at Tema port, then he has the opportunity to alert the port state inspectors to...
That is the situation.
Yes, exactly. This is what is happening on board. So they can send you, even before the vessel gets to port, they can send a mail that I'm on so-and-so vessel, and then this is what is happening on this vessel. Last week we had a complaint like that, and it has to do with a pipe, a leaking pipe. It wasn't even in Ghana here. It was on its way to Tema port.
Right.
The pipe, I think it was a broken pipe. What they used was to use cement. As to how they were able to get it done. That should be a temporal measure to deal with the matter. But what the seafarer said was that I think they've called about 2 other ports, and it doesn't seem like they wanted to fix the problem. So they took photos of these incidents and then forwarded it to GMA that this is what is happening. So when you come on board, kindly assist us because that is a safety threat.
Absolutely.
Yes, so by the time the vessel got to Tema port, our port state control officers were there to ensure that that issue was fixed. So wages, all sorts of issues may come up. Usually what we shouldn't forget is that the vessel is the home as well as the workplace of the fisher.
Absolutely.
So just imagine anything at all that happens at home. If if it's on the vessel and the seafarer feels aggrieved, or he feels that the authorities must know, they just communicate that information to us. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Okay, so let's now shift to the area of job opportunities for Ghanaians, and just to find out from you what the Ghana Maritime Authority is doing to promote seafaring as a viable job, attractive career opportunity for Ghanaians.
Okay, so I mentioned earlier that we reviewed our handbook. Okay, one of the reasons for reviewing the handbook is to ensure that some of the competencies that are within the handbook, we shorten and the period of attaining the competence still within the provisions of the STCW convention.
Right.
So it was also to ensure that we brought in certain new competencies, especially at the rating level. For example, the ABs and then the watchkeepers. Instead of them acquiring sea time, let's say 12-month sea time at sea, we introduced a new curriculum at the Regional Maritime University. We call it pre-sea for ratings, both for engine and deck ratings.
Right.
So instead of you doing 12 months at sea, you with the training record book and then having the pre-sea, instead of 12 months, you just do 2 months and then you can be certificated as a seafarer.
Right.
And that is rightly within the confines of the remit of the STCW convention. And the other thing, once we are done with that, the second thing that we are trying to do is to embark on what we call the Go to Sea campaign.
Okay.
So the whole idea of the Go to Sea campaign is this is part of the ILO's, IMO's, some of the initiatives of the IMO, and it's part of Regulation 12 of the STCW Convention, that career and skill development for young people to accept seafaring as a vocation. So what we intend doing is to go into the second cycle institutions, the secondary schools, and then encourage them to adapt seafaring as a vocation. We also go ahead under the STCW Convention under Regulation 1/10. What we do is we sign memorandum of understanding with ship source countries.
Right.
We are a labor supply country. We don't have the vessels, but we
have the labor, we have the workforce.
We have the workforce, yes. So we identify these. But before you do that, it means that you have given full and complete effect to the provisions of the STCW Convention. We have, just this year, we were passed by the Maritime Safety Committee and will be maintained on
the IMO.
Yes, IMO white list. So we are there. We have been audited by the European Maritime Safety Agency. The audit report had come out, and we are dealing with in fact, we've dealt with some of the things that they identified, the non-conformities that they identified. We've dealt with them, so we are waiting for a feedback from the EMSA. So with all these, what we are trying to do is to create the enabling environment with our Maritime Education and Training Institute, with our policy of ensuring that we sign MOUs with ship source countries, and then encouraging the youth, especially within the second cycle institution, to take to seafaring as a vocation.
Right.
So with all these, we are trying to ensure that some form of job creation within the maritime industry. And you don't necessarily have to acquire a university degree to go into seafaring as a vocation.
Right.
Yes, if you don't have much, what you can do is to develop on this. This is a vocation, okay?
Yeah.
It's about knowledge, it's about the skill, it's about the attitude.
Right.
So what you can do is gradually you build on your career. You start as a watchkeeper, and then the AB, then you end at the rating level.
Right.
Then if you still you can go ahead. Then you move into the officer realm, an OOW, a chief mate, or a second engineer, and then a chief engineer or a master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Okay,
Yes. You want to?
Yes, I wanted to add.
Yes.
That in fact, that initiative is because statistics about the demand for seafarers worldwide is damning. In fact, it's projected that the world will need about 90,000 officers by 2026. And
2026.
Yes, 2026.
Just in 2 years. Okay.
Yes, just in 2 years. That's a shortfall in the capacity.
Right.
So Ghana Maritime Authority is leveraging on this to attract a lot of young people to their career, to take seafaring as a profession, a career, as you may so speak. Now, all of us know that international trade is not going to stop today or tomorrow. Yeah. So the global demand is actually there. There's so many advantages with the profession. There's global mobility. You'll be able to tour around, see a lot of places. In addition to earning a lot of money for yourself. I mean, so I encourage the young people, or I encourage people to consider consider seafaring as a profession because it will never die. Sea never dry, as they say.
Yes, we've often touted the Philippines as one of the countries that, as the lead country that supplies seafarers across the globe, across the world. And I don't know, in Ghana, what's our case like? Are we satisfied with the numbers that we are churning out and supplying to the shipping market?
Apparently, we can do more. We are not happy, but we are also constrained. Hitherto, there were issues with sea time for cadets and all that.
Right.
And I have to say that there have been some companies that have come on board. Bernard Schulte, for instance, has structured an MOU with the Maritime University.
Yes.
Of course, GMA certificates the seafarers, so we support Bernard Schulte and Maritime University.
Yes.
And they've taken, as per last count, about 300 Ghanaians to their various destinations. Other companies have also come. Williamson Ship Management Company has come to make inquiries.
Right.
And as you said about the Filipino factor,
yes.
Apparently, it will surprise you, they have issues with their certification.
Okay.
But because of their numbers, they cannot. They are giving them time to rectify the issues.
Yeah.
And so
that to withdraw them, then the
course,
industry
because there are over
globally
750,000 Filipinos worldwide.
Across the world, yeah.
And so Ghana is leveraging on that window of opportunity. And the white list, as he said, gives us a lot of advantage over other countries. And Ghanaian seafarers have also, over the time, performed. You take a company like PI or Pacific International Lines. Ghanaian seafarers who went there actually gave up their vest.
Right.
And so they still pick Ghanaians. Other companies like Odindov and Co. used to have a lot of experienced Ghanaians. And wherever the Ghanaian went, at least he showed, he excelled. So those are some of the...
I understand the Ghanaian seafarers are among the best, at sea when they go out there.
Yeah. So not just Ghanaian seafarers, but Ghanaian fishers as well. Okay. So it's not just within the seafaring industry, but even with the fishing industries. If you come to fishing, Ghanaian fishers are one of the best in the world.
Right.
Currently, we have a number of recruitment and placement service providers recruiting fishers, especially for the UK market or UK fishing industry. The unfortunate thing is that, for some time now, UK has considered these fishes have been incorporated into the bracket of those that are recognized or identified as skilled workers. You are issued with a skilled worker visa, right, and therefore you have to undergo IELTS. And if you look at our fishes, sitting down to write IELTS, really, it requires you should speak, you should read, you should write, and you should listen, especially the reading and writing aspects. Just imagine somebody coming from Apam who is engaged in fishing. One of the challenges that we have is the level of education.
Right.
So what we are trying to do is to ask the UK we've been pushing this anyway. They should reconsider these requirements as you sitting for IELTS before you are considered to, because we have the skill here, and then they are able to communicate.
The hands-on experiences there.
Exactly. So these issues about IELTS, sitting for IELTS before you are allowed to, anyway, but we've had a number of Ghanaians going also to do fishing. And there is this company, Scottish Whitefish Producers Association, that is recruiting a number of fishers from Ghana to the UK. And because you have a skilled workers visa, there is the opportunity that you sometime you can also be a citizen of the United Kingdom. I think within a period of 5 years or so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our report here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are taking a look at the Cabotage law, which implementation has begun by the Ghana Maritime Authority. We're also taking a look at how we can enhance maritime safety and career opportunities in Ghana. With us in the studios, Mr. Audu Inusa, Principal Maritime Administrative Officer of the Ghana Maritime Authority, and indeed Mr. George Kwachi, who is also a Principal Maritime Administrative Officer. They are the two gentlemen we're having a discussion with. It's time for us to go for a quick break. When we will return, we shall continue the discussion. Please stay with us.
Heyman, no, we are taking number first. By you. You have to say take the number, give me.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, feel me time mama wati. Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Well out with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Tell God, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
So, welcome back. This is Sion Pod here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we're taking a look at how to enhance maritime safety and career opportunities in Ghana, and we're also taking updates from the Ghana Maritime Authority on the Cabotage law, which implementation has begun in earnest. I am told by the production team that we can activate the phone lines for you to call in, and the number is right on your screen, 020-5283-53, 020-5283-53. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. With me in the studios, Mr. Audu Inusa, Principal Maritime Administrative Officer of the Ghana Maritime Authority, and indeed Mr. George Ante Kwachi, who is also a Principal Maritime Administrative Officer at the Ghana Maritime Authority. They are the two gentlemen we're having a discussion with tonight. Some messages have come through. Let me go through them. This one says, hello, this is Kwamna from Takoradi. Kudos to GMA for making this cabotage regime see the light of day. I would like to know how they will ensure full compliance when the August 1st enforcement date comes, and how will they ensure that vessels doing business in Ghanaian waters use 75% of ratings and 50% of sales from Ghana. Can our officials from Ghana Maritime Authority also help us with a better picture of the modalities for employing Ghanaians on vessels? And this sounds like a game changer. It's also from Mike in Kanda.
So every vessel has a safe manning document. Okay, so the safe manning document determines how many people are required on board those vessels for the safe operation of the vessel. Aside from that, as part of the requirement, you have to submit the necessary number of people that is required on board. So this is something that will be easy to determine once we start the implementation. And like he mentioned today, it's not going to be it's going to be a gradual process, because some of the areas you can't take the people out immediately. For instance, if you take our fishing vessels, at the top echelon of the fishing vessel, they are manned by foreigners. You can't easily take them out of the system like that. It will take a while, like we mentioned, through training and over a period of time, then you phase them out.
Okay, so yes, to answer Kwame's question, there's been visitation of the cabotage enforcement team on board vessels that operate in Ghana's maritime space, informing them of their need. Our officials go and then they inform them of their need to regularize their cabotage registration. It will interest you to know that because we have licensed seafarer recruitment and placement service providers who employ directly to the vessels here, we make sure they comply. We go on board, as I said earlier on, we go on board, conduct crew analysis using the percentages as in the cabotage law. Now, what we are not doing is that if there is a shortage of a particular rank, we advise them to start looking for. So there's been ample time. Now, somebody also asked about how does he employ Ghanaian seafarers.
Yes.
The process is simple. You have to register as a recruitment and placement service provider. However, you have to meet...
We have 41, or is it 46 in Ghana already?
Yeah.
You have to...
About 45 of them.
We have to... You have to register as that, but you have to get some... There are prerequisite requirements. For example, there's a police report that will let you take a letter, a permit from Ministry of Labour.
Right.
You go through an auditing process, a checklist, and all that. And then if you are given the green light, your certificate is issued.
Okay.
All enquiries should be directed to the Director General.
Okay.
And then that is, it will cascade down the registration process.
Okay. Steph in Accra says, is it because merchant ships don't stay on our waters for long? That's why they are not covered by this cabotage regime?
I did not say merchant vessels. Every vessel is a merchant vessel. I don't know. Maybe he's talking about cargo.
Right.
Right. So now let me say there are 2 ports here. Basically, now we have Takoradi and Tema.
Yes.
What is the flow? See? But there are oil tankers. There are smaller oil tankers, maybe 1,000 GRT. That do Tema Takoradi, they trade.
Yeah.
If there's an opportunity for trade to be carried on within these 2 ports, of course, then it means those vessels will be subjected to full cabotage registration.
Right.
So merchant vessels means vessels that carry goods so please, it's not only like that.
So I think we should make this clarification.
Yes.
Not all vessels calling at port are affected by cabotage.
Right.
If it's just a vessel that is calling at port just to discharge cargo and then leave, it's not affected by cabotage.
Right.
Because it's not working within our waters. I think that clarification has to be made.
Okay. All right. So this one says, it's from Jane in Tema. She says, it's very inspiring to hear that Ghana is on the white list. Maybe we can capitalize on the non-conformance of Philippines and other countries and fill in the demand. The question is, how will we do this?
So, one challenge that we face in the industry is it appears everybody wants a certificated fisher, a seafarer, but they are not ready to train.
Right.
Okay, with the exception of a few, like he mentioned, the Shoot, Maritime, Hafnia, who are willing to expose these seafarers to training. Almost all of them are looking out for persons who already have the requisite experience to engage them. So what we are doing is we are encouraging the merchant vessels to offer Ghanaian seafarers, especially those that are working within our waters. As part of the requirement, there is a policy that before you are issued with a permit to work within our waters, you should have trained some cadets and also some ratings as a prerequisite for your license to be renewed.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. This one says, hello, sir. My name is Enoch. Watching you live from Labadi. Please, I want to ask that what is GMA doing for engine ratings who haven't gotten jobs due to COC? What's COC?
That's the certificate of competency. Yes. So, like I mentioned, that is the C time.
Yes.
So, if you are an engine rating, are you an engine rating? Which of the career path did you take? Did you just acquire the mandatories and then you went to C? Or you just have the mandatories? That makes it quite challenging. But if you've gone for the pre-C training, that is where you require only 2 months and then you will be certificated. And it's also one of the reasons why we want to promote the cabotage regime, so that there will be such opportunities for training of these ratings and then the officers within our waters.
Right. Okay. This one is from Osei Oswamanko. Okay, Ghana Shippers Authority, my very good brother. He says, kudos to Iron Port for this eye-opening session with the GMA. It's something that is long overdue. And he goes further to say, happy birthday to Mr. Kwesi Bafo Sapong, CEO, Ghana Shippers Authority. All right, Chief, we wish you the best in your celebrations. And thank you very much, Osei, for sending in that message. Now, let me come to you. Let's do something small on piracy and what the situation is like as of now. Those days we used to hear of Gulf of Aden, and all those things. And then, initially it used to be the Horn of Africa. Then we came to Gulf of Aden and then, Gulf of Guinea in recent times. Tell us if you can give us a picture of what the situation is with respect to piracy.
Okay, so
waters,
there's always been a confusion about piracy, maritime piracy.
Yes.
Now, this is because for piracy to happen, it has to happen outside the jurisdiction of a state. And so in Ghana, we have declared 200 nautical miles.
As
our
exclusive economic zone, sure.
So for piracy to happen, it should happen outside. And what actually happens, which they term piracy, and before I forget, in fact, there was a time International Maritime Bureau, an NGO, made a story about Ghana being the hub of piracy.
All right, before I continue, those of you calling the WhatsApp line, please, the phone-in line is right on your screen, and that's 020-552-8353. Call that. And this one is, the MTN is strictly for WhatsApp, please. Thank you. Yes, please, Mr. Kwachi.
Yeah, so as I was saying, this NGO, International Maritime Bureau, actually reported Ghana as being a hub of piracy.
Right.
So,
which we picked was a wrong...
Yes, of course, because of the definition.
Absolutely.
Now, so what I'm coming to say is that piracy, jurisdiction-wise, it happens beyond the countries.
Yes.
But then inward, in the country's area of operation, what happens is armed robbery, violence, and those are the things.
Right.
Now, they still happen one or two. But then I'm happy to say that the Ghana Maritime Authority has acquired patrol boats.
Right.
And
how many?
The last count was about 6.
6 patrol boats. Wow.
And we go on joint night patrols
with the Navy.
With the Navy.
Okay.
The Marine Police.
Police, yeah.
And so that has
lessened
the barest minimum illegal bunkering and all that. We are also in the GMA. Also has this VTMIS system.
Yes, the vessel tracking
and
information management system.
All right. So, but even that, we intend to go higher because of where now our maritime space has reached.
Yes.
So we are taking an over the top. There's a radar system that's able to see up to more than 200 nautical miles.
Right.
And we are in the process of procuring that to replace the VTMI. And then also there were issues with prosecution.
Right.
Maritime, those crimes, maritime crimes. So we are leading with Attorney General.
Right.
Push the Ghana Maritime Offences Bill 2002.
Right.
That would give us full jurisdiction
to handle such matters.
To handle such issues. And it will interest you to know that one of the stakeholder engagement on these maritime offences, participants proposed at least 15 years jail sentence for piracy to serve as a deterrent. So we are on course. And that's our position.
When was the last time we had an incident in our waters?
Before that, one of the things that we've also tried doing is that a number of issues concerning our fishing vessel being hijacked.
Okay, before you continue, please, just note where you stopped so that you can continue from there. But I understand we have from Second D, Ben, on the line. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Awesome. Please shoot.
My question to GMA is, I want to know why the students from KNUSC who have done marine engineering are being refused to be given the chance to acquire discharge book, and they are not even allowing them to attend the mandatory courses.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. It says students from KNUST are being denied some one or two.
Yes, so KNUST is not a recognized maritime education and training institute.
Okay.
It has not been audited by the GMA. And yes. Before
when you say GAB, what's that?
The Ghana Maritime Authority.
Okay.
You know, before
GMA,
I mentioned to you that
GAB,
under Regulation 1/10, we need to sign MOUs with countries.
Yes.
And then so if you go into Regulation 1/8 of the STCW Convention,
yes,
we are supposed to carry out audits. Just as we are audited,
yes,
we also carry out internal audits of the institutions that promote education and training in the country. Yes. The KNUST, the marine engineering lesson at KNUST is not accredited by the Ghana Maritime Authority. That is what is creating the challenge. Yes.
Okay. I understand we have Samuel from Accra. Sammy, good evening.
Good evening, boss. How are you?
I'm well, sir. Thank you very much. Please shoot.
Greeting to your panel.
Yes, please. Sure.
Yeah, I'm coming from the Regional Maritime University.
You're coming from?
Regional Maritime University.
RMU, okay, right, sure.
Yes, and there is this topic, we are doing some research under it, the Cabotage law. I'll be grateful if you allow your panel members to explain further the advantages, disadvantages, and why some countries are discarding the law after they have adopted it.
Okay.
Can they give much details about it?
Okay. I think Sami is giving us an exam question, the advantages and disadvantages of the Cabotage law, if I heard him right. And so maybe you would like to zoom in. I think our time is really even up. We don't have any more time, actually. And so maybe you would just conclude with what you were saying, and then we'll wrap up, and then maybe we'll take responses from you, and then next Sunday when we can respond to Sami. So,
okay,
yes,
so
just quickly.
what I'm saying is if a number of our fishing vessels has come under piracy attack.
Yes.
So as part of our effort to sanitize the fishing
industry,
yes, the safety, we will also carry out security training for our fishers. So our currently Ghanaian fishers, they don't just go under the mandatory basic safety training. They also undergo security training under the ISPS to ensure that at least they are trained to be alert, to be conscious of their environment and what to do in the event of a pirate attack.
Yes. Sure. All right. Okay, so that was Mr. Audu Inusa. He's Principal Maritime Administrative Officer at the Ghana Maritime Authority. To my left is Mr. George Antikwachi, who is also a Principal Maritime Administrative Officer at Ghana Maritime Authority. Tonight we've been taking a look at how to enhance maritime safety and career opportunities in Ghana, and also some update on the Cabotage law, which implementation has begun by the Ghana Maritime Authority. Indeed, we'd like to say big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Regional Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Indeed, we entreat you to watch the abridged version of I Am Port on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television GTV. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of your favorite Eye on Port. My name is Kennedy Mono. Thank you for choosing Metro TV. Keep watching the rest of our programs here, and God willing, we shall meet next week. We wish you a super and blessed week ahead. Good evening, and thanks for